Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining this month's Troubleshoot community meeting. We have a pretty decent agenda going today. Got some open issues that we're going to be reviewing. Um, we got a PR that is about to be solved, and I am very excited to get started. So let's go ahead and get started. Um, I'm actually going to skip the first one, and I'm going to go straight to our second agenda item. Hey, Ethan, thanks for joining. Um, and that was by Andrew Lavery. That is a pull request that needs review, and that is going to add the output flag to support bundle. Um, I already gave my little +1, but I do not trust myself enough to be able to say that that's ready for merge. And also, there are some conflicts that will need resolving before we can fully merge that. Unfortunately, Andrew has not made it in yet, so I can't ask him any questions about it, but just wanted to put that on the radar that we do have a partial fix for open issue number 407 that just needs to be merged once those conflicts are resolved. Um, let's see. And then we're going to go over to open issues. Let's start with troubleshoot. Number 555, that is, I lost it, I found it. Issue number 555 is a feature request to add MySQL collector and analyzer support for checking properties. Edgar, can you give us, well, the issue itself is pretty well explained, but can you give us a little bit more detail on what it is that you're looking to add?
Definitely, yes. So we're working with Replicated to offer an on-prem solution. And for our SaaS application, we have a few MySQL configs or parameters that need to be set on the database side in order for our app to function properly. So this was a case of where we wanted to do a pre-flight check to basically make sure that the right configure or the correct configuration is set. And we understand from talking to Fernando that we could do a custom pod pre-flight check where we just spin up a pod, connect, run the config, and check it. But this would feel more like first class support, and it seems like we looked at the code. It seems like it should be I wouldn't say easy because I don't know the full context, but it seems like it should be in the realm of possibility to just add it to the collector and the analyzer so that we can just, kind of similar to, I think Kyle posted in the issue. Yeah, it would be similar to like right now, one of the pre-flight checks connects, runs the version, runs like a show version or something query. So this would just be an additional query where we would have an output that we could then analyze and base some pre-flight checks off of that output. So that's the whole idea or the context that we were thinking.
Sorry, I'm muted. All right, thank you so much for expanding on that a bit. So how do we feel about implementing this feature? I guess I'll hand it over to Chris.
Sorry. So I'm not gonna be able to comment on the implementation of it, but I'm hoping Ethan, I don't know if you've had a chance to glance at this beforehand, have you?
Do you have it available?
Is it something that that like Edgar and your team you'd want to implement? You're looking for guidance, or you're looking for us to implement? I guess that's my question.
Yeah, I think we're okay with either. Like I said, we looked into it and it seemed like we would have the know-how to add it ourselves, but I think we just wanted to make sure that this was the best route to go, or before just opening a PR or cutting out the time to go and implement it ourselves. We wanted to make sure that A, it made sense, and B, it was okay for us to do it.
I mean, yeah, looking at your proposal, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like the most like, I feel like when it comes to the spec itself and like the nitty gritty of that, sometimes there's some like opinions there, but I think that like generally you have the right idea, and like I do think it makes sense in the MySQL pre-flight analyzer to put it there. The goal of the pre-flight project is to make it like as easy as possible for the the vendor or the user to configure it, and rather than suggest that you do like a custom pod for analysis, it's much more in the vein of the project to add it to the collector itself in the Go code. So I can also comment in the story or in the issue in the troubleshoot project. But yeah, I would say that like you definitely if you were to make that contribution, like we'd be like delighted, and we should have been more proactive in the story in the issue to say that. So yeah, you go ahead, please.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, sounds good. We just wanted to make sure we weren't missing any context or anything that we should do instead. But yeah, if that's the case, then we'll make sure to put this into one of our upcoming sprints, and we look forward to y'all's feedback.
Cool. Yeah.
How exciting. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So that is fantastic news. Pretty much what I was expecting to hear. So our next agenda item is these are actually for SB which is a new plugin that was written by Dimitri and Sala, but neither of them are here right now. And we've got a couple of open issues from AJ, who is also not present, but these are actually related to projects that we're working on together. The first one was for deterministic kubeconfig file names. That is actually something that, no, it's not. That's on a different project. Basically, the randomized hash at the end of the kubeconfig file whenever you start SBCuddle it's hard to program into a backend script, so that the attendees to our workshop will have to do like an extra step that may or may not go right, versus us being able to code it into the background and it always go right. So he opened that bug for that. And then the second one is for kubectl errors when the process is sent to the background. So if you try to send it to the background, instead of having to open a separate terminal window, you can still run SBCuddle commands, but you get a slew of API errors. Neither one of us is sure why that's happening. So a bug was opened for that. I should probably be linking you all to these. So I'm just going to send a link to the agenda in the chat so that you can look them over. But neither of the bugs opened by AJ are super urgent. It would just be very helpful if we could have them resolved by the time KubeCon comes along.
Did you link to the notes? Where
Yes.
are the two bugs in the notes that you're talking about?
SBCuddle, they're under support checking MySQL parameters. I'll just link directly.
I see it right there. Cool.
So the first one, number 39, for SBCuddle, I'm fairly comfortable, or I'm fairly confident that we can work with the audience to copy and paste the link. That shouldn't be a big deal. But not being able to push SBCuddle to the background, that's a little bit problematic because we're working in Katacoda. So opening another terminal window or having to deal with all of those errors and having to explain every time why they're happening is a little bit problematic.
Yeah, so you can work around it. Like it looks like with the TMUX session. I think AJ was actually looking himself at this to see if it's something he could solve. But if it's not something he can solve between when is KubeCon? He's trying to get this for
May 16th, May 17th. May? I think our workshop is on the 14th.
Yeah, we might be able to get this solved before then, depending on how complicated it is. But yeah, I agree. It would be nice if we could make it background easier. I'm not too upset about using TMUX as a workaround though, if we have to. It would be easier if you didn't have to, but that would still allow it to progress.
Okay. Well, that's good news to hear. And I mean, It's not the worst thing in the world if we can't get it done by KubeCon. It just would look a lot nicer.
Yeah, I'd like to. It's a use case we didn't really consider when we started with SB Cuddle. And so like, I'm not surprised it's doing it. And so I'm hoping that means we just didn't set it up to handle this and it'll be fixable, as opposed to, oh yeah, there's a real technical limitation here. But I don't know yet which one it is.
Got it. Okay. So that is actually the end of my agenda items. Hi, Kyle. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
Sorry. We're happy that you're here. So we got a quick start, and we already discussed the issue that was opened a few days ago and got the green light. So anything that you are willing to send over to the Troubleshoot project, you are totally welcome to do so. Like, we are thrilled for any type of contribution. And now it's time for open floor. So you actually got here in perfect time. This is where we discuss anything having to do with the Troubleshoot project, anything related to Troubleshoot, or anything related to open source in general. So I will hand it off to you all if there's anything that you would like to bring up and anything you'd like to discuss.
I can give one little insight, is that I know there was a pull request to do remote host collections. Somebody on my team this week has started looking at, there's kind of a little bit of a confusion around remote host collectors, pre-flights, and host collectors. Feels like we've almost reinvented some of the same things multiple times. So we're looking at that to see if a cleaner way to bring those together and better document what the intention of each is. Part of what we'd like to see there is, can we still collect what we were calling as pre-flights before as part of support bundle, like host information for the event that like the API server is down, and you want to troubleshoot that. So that's one of the things we're seeing on our side is, if the API server is down, I pretty much have to get on the phone with somebody and go through a painful process of having them debug in front of me. So we're looking to see what we can do about that. So hopefully we'll have some more direction, and we'll post some information and maybe a PR once we've gotten our head wrapped around where it's at and where we think it could go.
Thanks so much for sharing that, Chris. I remember we talked about that a little bit earlier. That's awesome. I guess. So I'm going to start putting people on the spot, but before I do that, I'm going to mention, related to the bugs that were opened by my colleague AJ, just going to let you all know that we are doing a virtual workshop for KubeCon EU that I sincerely hope that you will all join. If you're not attending KubeCon, either in person or virtually, you can also do the workshops on Katacoda. Our handle is Replicated HQ, and we're planning on adding a lot more activities in the future, but for right now, there's a great Troubleshoot intro, and there's another one that is in the process that's going to include SB Cuddle introduction. So I hope that you'll all go check those out, and I hope that we see you at KubeCon in one way or another. That's the end of my announcement. I'm going to hand it back over to Ethan. Is there anything, like any updates that you'd like to talk about related to Troubleshoot?
I don't have much. I was here in case to answer any questions.
Got it. I appreciate you coming in, but I do miss our dinosaur in the background. Hey, Dimitri, thanks for joining.
Hello.
So maybe this was talked about already and I missed it and I get the rundown from Edgar. But so we're good to add this functionality to the MySQL collector and analyzer. Okay, cool.
If you want to discuss it a little further here, that'd be good. I'm in the process of commenting in the open issue, basically just saying, yeah, like, please do. The only thing that I is a little like unclear to me, like how you would implement the spec for like the expected key value list. I was just looking for some like prior art in other analyzers and couldn't find anything like quite similar. It seems like what we've done before is we shove all that stuff in the when outcome, like when
that's the part that I was the most fuzzy on as well. Is like, can I give some like random key values somewhere else? Because I'm going to need to be able to specify like this key needs to be this value in the like overall payload of properties. And then it needs to be ANDed together so that I can check multiple, because there's like, I think I gave the example of like seven properties about the MySQL database that I need to be set in a customer who's bringing their own MySQL database.
Yeah, and that's pretty difficult in the when clause because it's not like a formal like language in there. It's kind of pretty ad hoc. So I mean, I was gonna comment that like I didn't really have like a great suggestion for you. Like I think just like writing your proposed spec just like in the issue and comments, and then we could like continue the conversation there unless like I don't know, unless Dimitri has an opinion, not to put Dimitri on the spot, but I think there's other people who are more close to the project replicated that might like have some better ideas than I do.
I caught just like a tail end of this, but I don't know if you guys discussed this, but it sounds like if you need to check if all of these are set, maybe with the existing implementation of like analyzers, it'd be easier to check what isn't set. So you will have like a bunch of fail cases, like large prefix. So you need the large prefix to be 1. So it's a fail if large prefix is 0. And then if any of those fails, then the whole thing fails, right? Like reverse the condition. And then init connect has like a string, which probably means we need to support regular expression matching because like spacing may be different, commas or something. I don't know. Not really familiar with what that parameter means.
Yeah. It could be regex or it could just be straight string match. But I think, yeah, because the user who's bringing up MySQL could set a bunch of other stuff in there, and all we care about is the collation connection part. I think we might have to do some sort of regex
so it's like a substring or a regex match.
Yeah. And I guess the last thing to ask would be, is it too hard to shove this into the existing MySQL analyzer collector? And would it be easier to build an orthogonal one that's like 4 checking properties?
I think maybe collector could be MySQL, but the analyzers, they seem like you could do the existing text analyzers, probably. I don't know if this necessarily needs a new implementation.
Okay. I think when I looked at it, it looked easier to implement the collector side because it's just like an extra MySQL command that's run and then just shove the response from it into basically JSON. Yeah, into a file. Yeah,
and it's because it's MySQL specific. That definitely belongs in the MySQL collector. Like you don't want this to be in Postgres.
Yeah, but the analyzer part was the part that I had the most difficulty coming up with a solution, like an idea for how to check all these things are set.
Yes, text analyzer could work for that, unless like we want to make it reusable for others, and then a custom analyzer would make sense.
Yeah, some analyzers, like some custom analyzers, they would like split text on like equal sign or something, and then just do like not usually regular expressions. But yeah, you could do a special analyzer for this, like a key value analyzer or something.
Oh, okay. That would be, that'd be way more generic and allow any kind of collectors JSON payload kind of thing. Okay.
All right, awesome. So I guess while we're circling back on things, Dimitri, now that you're here, I was hoping that maybe we could circle back to a couple of open issues for SB Cuddle. There's one in particular that gets on my nerves, and that's number 37, where you can't push SPCuddle to the background without the API errors. So I'm going to be perfectly honest. I don't fully understand why that would be happening. Here, I'll link it to you in chat.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. That's actually, I'm surprised that it's happening. I get the intention. I think this is an attempt to run the API and the client side in a single terminal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this may also be a user error. Like you still need to export the variable, and it doesn't look like AJ did that. So if his record is accurate here. So.
Well, heck, that would do it.
Yeah, maybe that other ticket, 35, I think is something, 39. With deterministic kubectl, then he could just like set it once and just run everything in a single terminal.
We'll do a bit more digging. But thanks for taking a look. All right, so we're still at open floor. So if there's any other topics that you all would like to touch on, now's the time to do it. So I just want to say that SPCuddle is awesome. I had a great time writing out our latest blog on the release and figuring out how it works, it's very intuitive. I very much enjoy using it. Normally, I hate looking through it like support bundle JSON files. That makes it a lot less intimidating. So thank you so much, Dimitri, for that.
I wrote it for myself, really.
Okay, well then thanks for sharing it with the rest of us. All right, so I suppose if there aren't any other topics for discussion, we can go ahead and close it off from here. Going to do my 3, 2, 1 countdown. Anyone? All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining. This was a really good meeting. We had some great discussions, and I hope that you will join us next month for probably some other type of exciting update, certainly some type of exciting update. And for those who are watching later on, we really appreciate you taking the time to to visit and check and see what's going on with Troubleshoot. And hopefully we'll see you next month. But thanks for joining, and I'll give you several minutes of your day back. Thanks. Bye.